Well, it's Saturday night, November 1st, the day after Halloweener. I'm about 7 o'clock. What are we doing? 2 videos posted in a day, trying to catch up. All right, starting fresh, starting over. New race car build. Down and out since I sold the funny car, but we ain't stopping there. So, in that last video, I showed you that piece of shit altered I bought. We got it all apart, and I'll show some videos over my brothers where we're fixing the chassis, doing the updates so we can get recertified. Car ended up being twisted up pretty good, bent, and looked like it's definitely been wrecked, run off the track, slapped the guardrail or whatnot. But here's the rear end. I got it apart. I'm going through everything 100%. This is a ground up build. You know, unfortunately, my dream of running a top alcohol funny didn't work out, but we're going back to my roots with the altered, and we decided what we're doing. We're going old school. We're building a fuel altered. Yeah, people might say I'm crazy, but I mean, that's nothing new. Check this out, a Zoom center section. I never knew Zoom made their own center sections, and by the end, just figure I saw it when it was in the car. I was like, wow, this is a regular old nodular Ford, nothing crazy there. But then I saw that, and man, look at the bearing caps on this thing. Robust, to say the least. Got a nice steel spool in it. We're gonna go through that 100%. Like I said, it's a floater. Had 40 spline axles. It's gonna be good. It's gonna hold up. Horsepower, engine combination. There she is. We're going back to the roots, baby. Early Chrysler Hemi. Just popped the heads off it. Let me start by saying old Uncle Mike came through with the early Hemi. Now, I used to have a bunch of these because this is what I used to run when I first got into altereds in the early 90s. The early Chrysler is what I built and ran. And that last motor, that big beautiful Brad Anderson, was pretty, but I just couldn't afford it. These here, we're going back. I'm going to show you guys how to make 2,000 horsepower on a tight racer's budget. And that's what we're shooting for. And I pulled the heads off earlier, and I ran them next door over to Eddie's, over to the body shop. We blasted them. They're looking good. I'm going to go through the whole build up on these. I got them up on the seat and guide machine. I'm getting ready to core the guides out. When I say by core the guides out, the factory Mopar is 3/8 valve. So I'm going to drill these out. I mean, it's going to be on nitromethane. We're going to put some loose clearance guides in here. So we're going to go with a Magnese bronze guide in the exhaust, but we're going to neck this down to 11/32. This motor here ended up being an industrial engine out of a fire truck. And it looks to be virgin, never been in new. And now the early Hemi, I'm not going to get into the whole thing and just make these videos of me talking all the time. I know you want to see some action, but just to give you some, give you a little bit of information on the early Hemi Chryslers. There's 3 different variations of the early Hemi. There was the Firepower, the Fire Dome, and the Red Ram. The Firepower was the Chrysler version, which was your 331, 354, 392. The DeSoto was a whole different Hemi. That was your Fire Dome, and the Red Ram, the Dodge Hemis were again a whole different animal. And they came in weird displacements from like 241 inches up to like 345 inches. The ones that made power, the ones that were prominent in the 50s, 60s, and 70s were the Chryslers. The industrial head was a sought after head. It lacked the exhaust heat crossover, which is good, and they actually flowed better than the 392 heads. But this is a virgin head. It's an industrial head, so it has factory hardened seats. Like I said, we're going to redo the guides. We're going to open up the bolt holes. They're 7/16. We're going to drill these out, and I'm going to tap them for some 9/16 head studs. But we got a whole lot of work to do, and I don't want to go crazy and just sit here and talk all night. But I'm going to pull this motor down tonight and see if the crank's usable in it, because going back old school, we're gonna, basically we're gonna use the block, we're gonna use the crank, we're gonna use the factory heads. We're gonna be aiming for 2,000 horsepower and fuel. That's right, nitro baby, the whole can. That's what we're going for. Spud's probably gonna think I'm nuts when I send the fuel system out and get it calibrated, but that's what we're doing in the shop tonight. We're gonna mess around with the heads and keep things rolling. I want to take you guys over to my brother's. I'm using the boring mill the other day. I had to build a jig so we could put that frame on, and I'll bring you up to speed and we'll go over there and I'll show you some of the upfits that we're doing on the car. Harlan and I went to Virginia last week, bought some bead locks for the car, get some up-to-date wheels on it. But we're going for IHRA fuel altered class. I don't care if I'm the slowest friggin' car out there. We're putting a AA fuel alter together. Do some damage to our eardrums. See if we can't go to the track and burn that place down. Stay tuned. We're back in action, baby. I got the old fire truck Hemi flipped over, and I'm going to try to do a time-lapse video as I pull this thing apart so I could show a few things of it, if I could figure out how to get that to work on the phone here. But look at that Ford steel crank. I'll tell you what, I was stuck a little bit in a funk, you know, since selling the Brad Anderson motor that, you know, we worked on for a year, and then got a little depressed and sold the funny car. I was really kind of stuck, kind of down and out, and I think that's why I bought that boat to fool around with, to kill some time. But just not being able to do what I wanted to do with the funny car really got me kind of in a bad place. But I'll tell you, old Uncle Mike came through with this Hemi, and that changed things around. You heard of the movie How Stella Got Her Groove Back? Well, old Mikey giving me this Hemi is how old Mark Prinzio got his groove back. But we're going to forge on. This one's going to happen. So let me see if I can lay this down and do a time lapse of pulling this thing apart. Look at that, dropping shit on the ground like Ryan Gilbert in here, knocking shit over. But let's see if I can do that. See what happens. Well, I can't get the time lapse working. I'll have to wait till I get Anthony out here. So I'm gonna leave it off of this. Just knocking the first rod out. We're gonna grind this crank. I'm actually gonna grind these journals down to fit a big block Chevy rod bearing, because I'm gonna modify this to fit big block Chevy aluminum connecting rods. But I want to show you all bearings, most of them factory and some aftermarket. Look closely at this here. Well, if I can get the focus. That's a Clevite 77 bearing, and the date code on it, 569. So that's May 1969. So this motor's hasn't been into since 1969, but being it's a 1956 engine, so it was rebuilt in 69 for some reason. They took it down and put bearings in it, standard bearings no less, so something must have happened along the way and they had to go in and do a repair, but it was in service until then. But I'm gonna leave you guys with that. We're gonna pull this down, and I'm gonna get the block in the hot tank and cleaned up. We're gonna machine it for some 4-bolt caps that I actually manufacture the caps here in-house. I used to make them about 30 years ago and sell them to places like Hot Heads and some of the other Hemi vendors, which are long gone, but we used to actually make them and sell them to those guys. But I'm gonna start making them again, even if I'm just making them for myself. So I'll show the modifications I'm gonna do to this old thing. And like we were talking about racing that funny car on the budget, this is a little more in tune to my budget, as far as starting with a free engine instead of an old beat up, blown up TFX block that you still got to pay $2,500 for and repair all the holes in it. We're going back iron. It's heavy. It's not going to be able to take the boost like the big guys, but if we can get in the show with an old Iron Maiden, I think that'll say something. But stay tuned. We're going to go through this full build just like I was kind of doing on that Brad Anderson Hemi we built. And I'm going to show you every little aspect of how we're going to do this, from taking a motor that was 290 horse in the fire truck and going to blow some serious snot through it and try to make 2,000 horsepower. So here we go. Hang on. It's coming.